Hello, Rory.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. Where have you been?
Yeah, no, I've not been around for a couple of weeks. A lot's
You've missed
happened.
all the fun.
I know.
You've missed all the fun.
Really, on both sides of the coin.
Yes.
Men's and women's.
2 wins in a weekend, 6 points.
Oh, I know.
It doesn't happen enough.
It doesn't happen often.
And it makes me feel warm at the start of a week.
Yeah, when I ended this weekend, I was like, what a great Monday to do a podcast.
Yes, absolutely.
So where were you for the games? You were there.
I was at both games.
Double header.
Yeah, I know. I moved out of Finsbury Park last year, but may as well have just stayed because I'm at the Emirates all the time these days, it feels like.
Yeah, you miss it. You're not missing the travel, though.
No. Though I have said previously on this podcast that I do like getting the train to matches. So and I now get to do more of that because I don't live in Finsbury Park. So that's
Lucky
something.
you,
yeah.
I guess.
Small wins. Small
wins. So last time I was on, or what has happened since, Arsenal became world champions.
Yeah, just that small matter.
Minor, major detail.
It's certainly not minor with the size of the badge on the kit.
I know. I did, you know what, when I saw Chelsea men's one go on, I did cringe at it. I'm not going to lie. But for us, I'll take it.
Well, I think we all realise that we're petty in these regards now this has happened. I do feel like I'm enjoying it for now. If we're still doing it like next season, I might be a bit like...
Not.
Well, do we keep doing it until the next Champions Cup? Well, I hope not.
I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I hope not. I'm enjoying it for now, but I feel like it could... too much of a good thing.
Yeah. And also, we beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge 2-0.
Yeah, that was lovely.
And I think we spoke previously about that.
Yes.
On the podcast as a sort of like run up to what's happening.
Yes, yeah.
And we were just like having a small breakdown about what might happen at Stamford Bridge because it just scares us.
Yeah, but actually it's been since the winter break, we've been brilliant. We obviously had the Man United games, which we'll forget about. But beyond that, and Man United just being a weird team to play against, like we have been brilliant and we've definitely found a kind of, I don't know, a sense of purpose and enjoyment that we just wasn't there at the start of the season.
What do you think has changed in the last 2 weeks? I've not been in the podcast.
Well, no, come on. Do you know what? If I'm to get too into it, I would say that ultimately we came into this season off the back of winning the Champions League.
Yep.
And then a load of our players going away to the Euros.
Oh.
And a fair few of them getting to the final and either winning or losing that final.
Yeah.
And I do wonder if you kind of go through all that and then you've got to get yourself up for another season. It is quite a lot.
Yeah.
And I think actually someone like Mariona Caldentey is such a good example of that because I think in the last few games she's been brilliant and much more like the player we saw last season, where I think for the first half of the season she was still good because she's a good player, but she wasn't quite the same player. And ultimately she loses that Euros final.
Yeah.
She misses the penalty or misses one of the penalties in the shootout and then has to come back and play with the players that beat her. And I know they're professionals and they're friends. I'm not saying that causes an issue, but it is a lot to kind of deal with mentally.
So you're thinking there are major highs and major lows.
Exactly,
and then going back into a season straight away.
Yes, I think so. And I think they've now had sort of Christmas off, the winter break, maybe. And Rennie kind of said something similar to this after the game, like, oh, the rest has been really good for us. And I wonder if now this is hopefully the good side of what we're seeing for that.
Yeah, because it's not just a physical rest, is it? You need that mental break.
Yeah, for sure.
And time with your family. And I think Christmas, unlike the men's sort of fixture list,
chaos,
is not as crazy.
Yes.
Which has done wonders for us, it seems. And we had to play league leaders at the weekend, Manchester City, who have been unbeaten for 13 games.
I know.
They're having a fantastic season.
Yeah.
Let's not just sort of, pretend that that's not happening. They're having a great season.
Yes.
They look solid and scary and look like they're well on their way to win the
Until
league.
they come to the Emirates.
And then they're trash! No, it was actually a very entertaining game.
It was a brilliant game. It was, the first half I think was the best I've seen us play in God knows how long. The Chelsea game was brilliant, but I think we were even better than the Chelsea game, I think, because of how good the opposition were. Because I thought we were excellent, but I also think we had to really fight to be excellent because you could see Man City's quality coming through in different points. But we completely dictated the tempo of how that game was going to be played in the first half. And to do that against the best team in the league who have been so good, I think was a massive testament to what this team is capable of.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, the first 15 seconds scared me.
I know.
Look, Miedemar just got a shot on goal, just picked
And
it from the middle.
having just said good things about Caldentey, she just gave the ball away from the start. But I do wonder if we've spoken a few times recently about Arsenal starting poorly in big games, the Man United game and also the Chelsea game at the Emirates being obvious examples of that in the kind of last few months. And I wonder if that was a case of, well, let's just get that out the way.
Yeah.
15 seconds in, just do the bad thing, and then we can start playing the game after that.
Yeah. And there was always going to be goals in this game. Not as many as I thought, to be fair, because between us in the last 3 games, I think there's been 16 goals.
Yeah.
So it was. I felt like it was going to go one way or the other, and I wasn't quite sure which way it was going to go. Obviously, 1-0 to the Arsenal. Lovely jubbly.
Great scoreline.
But it felt like there could have been a lot more goals.
Yes, definitely. And I feel like I think it was worked in our favour that we were able to kind of not have the chaos of previous Arsenal Man City games, because I think with their abundance of attacking talent, if you have a chaotic game, like ultimately they're probably going to come on top of that because they just have goals from everywhere. And I think in that first half in particular, we managed to really manage that and make it not as chaotic. And I think in the second half was when it was more like we just started doing some weird stuff. Man City did grow into it, and it's like, oh, okay, actually maybe there could have been a few more goals, like you're saying, but in the end, like, we did what we needed to do.
I think those particular moments was like they played a few pretty good split passes, to be fair, straight into their front line, and then there was it was almost like the whole Arsenal squad jumped on that person.
Yes, absolutely.
Like swarmed around that striker and was like, yeah, not today. And it was a bit chaotic and stuff, but we always managed to get like our body in the way or like in front of the attacking player, and so they actually only ended up having 1 shot on target.
I know.
Which is mad.
It is mad. And I think, like, again, it's one of those games I've had feels happen all the time recently where your nerves during the game maybe don't reflect how it actually was after the fact, if you'd kind of watched it a little bit independently of kind of your emotions. And I guess there's also little things like we'll come on to the red card decision that wasn't, and there were moments that they had the ball in the back of the net, although I think that everyone kind of knew that was a foul, so I don't think it was one of those big sort of disallowed goals incidences. But yeah, that second half I just felt like did get a little bit nervy, and actually maybe it felt like we gave up more than we thought. But I think you were right to touch on something where Arsenal, like, we were so aggressive.
So aggressive.
I was so impressed with, like, some of the times these big games, it is as simple as, you know what, you're coming up against a really good team and you need to be prepared to battle them all over the pitch, be quicker to them, all these kind of cliche stuff. And I think Arsenal did that brilliantly. I mean, Wilby Moore and Catley were fantastic.
Yeah.
Bunny Shaw is such a difficult challenge to have to deal with, and never mind having like Carolyn and Lauren Hemp and Viv Miedemar around her. And they just snuffed out any sort of inkling that Man City had when they kind of got into more dangerous parts of the pitch.
Yeah, Bunny Shaw is such a strong player.
It's only when you see her in real life you realise what an absolute unit she is.
Yeah, what an athlete.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen her play a couple of times and I've just been like... If I just got in the way of like her, I would just be like, you know, in those Looney Tune cartoons where they just get flattened into the ground.
And they got to get peeled back up again.
Anyone of my sort of stature on a football pitch would literally get flattened. So they did a phenomenal job in the sort of more aggressive side of the game. It was it was really nice to see.
It was really nice to see. And I think that's like, me and Laura spoke last week about having to suffer because René Slegers kept saying that about Arsenal in the Champions League last season. It felt like more of the same. But I almost felt like it maybe felt like it in a different way in this game. It wasn't suffering in this traditional sense of just like holding on and defending deep. It was more like you're going to have to put loads of effort in and it's going to be tiring and it's going to be difficult. But like you're going to have to really work off the ball and be physical in kind of duels, as that kind of modern term that people like to use now. And yeah, that's how it transpired.
Yeah, Slegers kind of spoke about that a little bit at the end, didn't she, in a post-match interview? And it was that grittiness, really.
Yeah, 100%.
That sort of ended up with us walking away with the 3 points. But it was an interesting lineup. Olivia Smith, she was playing more centrally, which gave her a lot of license to sort of run in behind, which is exactly what she did.
100%.
For the goal.
And if Man City's have a weakness, it is their centre-halves are a little bit slow.
Yes.
And it kind of seems very obvious now that that was the exact right thing to do.
I mean, she had her on toast.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, particularly the way I loved that goal. I absolutely loved that goal. I mean, I just love Olivia Smith. And I have done all season. And I think early in the season, I was like, oh, she's got so much energy, but can she turn that into end product? And I think we're seeing that now with, 3 goals and 4. But even before the break, she started to score a few more goals. And I think she's actually become a really important goal scorer for us. I think she could still get even better, which is a really exciting thing, right? But she is an absolute live wire. And the way it's a brilliant ball from Caldentey. Like, that can't be forgotten. It's such a good pass. And the way she just completely burns knack for pace, and then just has the ability to kind of nip in a little bit of strength, but mainly speed, and then round the composure to round the keeper. I just thought it was brilliant forward play. It was amazing.
Yeah, I think the goal itself was very beautiful to watch, because it came from playing out from the back, I believe. I think Caldentey came in line with the back line, picked up the ball, and then there was a little bit of a
I think her and Kim kind of bounced it off each other. Yeah,
and then she played that split pass, and you saw her running off the centre back shoulder, but she still had a job to do. Like the centre back is slow, but she's big and she's powerful.
Well, she didn't look the favourite. The whole time you thought, she's going to get close and she's not going to get there. And I think that's testament to how quick she had to be to actually get in behind there.
Yeah, quick and strong. And then, to take it round the keeper, who has had a great season.
Yes, yeah, really
I felt
good.
like the keeper, I mean, I'm not a keeper, this is absolute rubbish I could be talking. This is just a fan's opinion. But I felt
what we hear from is not fans' opinions.
I felt like she just kind of ended up in no man's land.
Yeah, I think it was one of those ones where I think, again, she maybe underestimated how quick Smith was going to be, and thought she'd get there first, or at least the defender would get there first and then could just knock it back to her and she clears it. But because Smith's pace does them both, neither of them end up in a position to actually sort it out, and then Smith just has the last laugh.
Yeah, and I've been loving watching her enjoying football for the last couple of weeks, especially since that red card, because I just actually felt so sad for her.
I know, 100%. Her smile is so infectious. It's lovely to see. And her and Beth Mead had a lovely moment in celebration to this, where they kind of were just both grinning at each other.
Yeah, it was wicked to see. I mean, we had quite a few chances. Yamashita actually had a good game.
Yes,
she made a couple of really good saves.
Really good one off Russo towards the end of the first half. But I think in that first half, what happened, what you described for the goal, happened over and over and over again. Arsenal just played through Man City's midfield, which is something I didn't think we were going to be able to do, because I think Man City's midfield has been brilliant. I mean, Hasegawa, we talked before how she has potentially been the player of the season this season in the league. Like, she's brilliant. I thought the midfield battle would be something that would be really difficult to get a hold of in this game.
Yeah.
But Arsenal, I mean, that Little and Caldentey double pivot when it's at its best. I mean, I've talked in this podcast before about liking Caldentey further forward, and I think there will be certain times throughout the seasons where that will still benefit us. But in these big games, having them two together with all their quality, they really can get a hold of games to control them in a way that few players in the world can, really. Yeah,
and I think that goal probably kind of showed that if they can rotate in the right times, you can still get her forwards.
100%,
She started so deep.
Yeah.
And then she ended up picking up the ball right in the middle and then playing that forward pass.
Yeah.
All due to the fact that she hooked up with Kim Little. So, I mean, it was an unbelievable performance. I do think, that midfield battle from Man City was almost a little bit underwhelming, wasn't it?
100%. I was surprised with how little fight there was in midfield, and how in the first half, again, Arsenal were just able to dominate physically, win all those 50-50, win all those kind of duels that would go on in the middle of the pitch, and just control how the game was going to be played.
Viv Mead probably did look like the most threatening at times.
Did you see her and Beth Mead clatter into each other?
No, I didn't.
They had a proper, just again, it was a footballing challenge.
Yeah. But
Viv stays down. Beth looks a little bit guilty afterwards. And I think Beth kind of went to apologise and Viv wasn't having any of it. So I hate to think how that went down later on. But I did enjoy that.
Surely there's a rule. So my partner and I, we played football together.
Yes.
That's how we met.
Yes.
And she was the captain of the team
that
I played for.
Yeah.
And in the end, we had to have a 6 o'clock rule.
Okay.
And after 6, we stopped talking about football.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that sounds a very healthy approach to it.
I mean, it has to be done. To be honest. It's a requirement of our marriage.
Yes. It's not a suggestion. It's no, this or nothing.
Exactly. And now she's the director on the board, so it's still the same.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That sounds healthy.
So I'm sure they have boundaries.
Yeah, I'm going to say, I'm sure it is fine. That's not.
Do you remember when
you
clattered me?
Well, it's one of those ones you don't mention it now, but in 3 weeks' time, when you're a little bit annoyed about something, it's and another thing.
Yeah, that thing that you don't remember.
Yeah, but no, Miedema was lively.
She was lively. Yeah, the whole game, pretty much.
Yes,
threatening until the very end. But like you said, I want to give props to our back line again.
Yeah,
they've been doing really well, even without Williamson.
Yeah,
which has been not surprising because they're extremely good footballers. Mm-hmm. But I think whenever Williamson goes out injured, there's always this sort of nervousness.
Yes.
But they've shown that they are very capable.
No, 100%. I mean, props to Wubben Moy. She's been brilliant in recent weeks. And I think she's maybe even found a ceiling that I didn't realise she had. I think a lot of Arsenal fans love Wubben Moy for what she's done for the club, for her personality, and I think everyone knows that she's a good defender. But I certainly felt, and I think some other Arsenal fans felt, that maybe she was just that, a good defender.
Right.
And I think whenever she had to come in for Williamson, you could see that she wasn't quite at that level. And now that is a very, very high level to get to. That's potentially the best, if not one of the best centre-backs in the world you're comparing her to. So, it's a lot to compete with. But it got to the stage with how she's played in recent weeks and also knowing how Williamson can sometimes take a couple of games to get back up to speed. Well, I was thinking, even if there's a chance for Williamson to start, I wanted Wubben Moy starting ahead of her for this game. Because of just with the form she showed and the level she's got to in the last few weeks, I think showed testament to actually how good her performances has been, how kind of she has raised the ceiling of her performances in a way that you obviously knew was always in there, but you maybe hadn't felt like you'd seen enough.
It's hard. It's really hard. I mean, football is hard enough as it is when you're trying to compete in a squad.
100%, yeah.
But when you're trying to compete for a position that rarely gets changed, you need a run of games, you need a run of time to really show what you're about. And I think probably now she has got that and is doing that, and now it's going to make the manager's decision very difficult. But it's a great issue to have.
It's a great issue to have, and I think my biggest worry about the summer was that I felt like we needed to buy a centre half because Steph Catley's filled in there brilliantly since she's kind of moved in from left back to centre back. Obviously, we know what Williamson's about, and as I said, we've been more always thought she was good, but I didn't know if she was quite world class. And then obviously we didn't really know what to expect from Katie Reid. Obviously started the season while I got injured. But I kind of felt between that four, and then obviously Kadina, I think, has again not quite shown what we wanted her to show over the times. And I kind of felt like we could have done with another person to a real world-class quality to kind of maybe put pressure on Catley, play alongside Williamson if we're going to really go to the top. And I still actually think that is maybe true, but I think what Wubben Moy's form has done has made that less of a burden in the last few weeks. And actually, you've seen that Williamson can get injured and we can still put in a brilliant performances and win massive games because she's been so good.
Yeah, and do you know who else I thought looked really bright this game and has looked bright since the Corinthians game? I think is Ford.
Yes, I think this was her best game certainly this season.
Yeah.
And if not for a while, she was excellent.
She looked so confident on the ball, I feel like she was taking on players in areas where in the past maybe she would have played the pass.
Yeah.
But had real belief she could take that player on and was, skipping past players.
Definitely. And I think at times, at her worst, she looks energetic but a bit blunt. But in this game, it was the opposite of that. She had all the energy but all the end product as well. And it's really interesting. A lot was spoken about kind of throughout the season, but particularly after the Chelsea win, about Beth Mead's role kind of coming in and acting as an extra midfielder and creating that box that kind of modern tacticos like to see in midfield. And it was really noticeable that Ford was doing the same thing. She was coming inside and helping out with the kind of number 10 a lot more, which I think, again, helped Arsenal dominate midfield because you were getting Mead come in and Ford come in and they were just numbers up all the time in the middle of the pitch, which is really interesting to see, and maybe a side of Kate and Ford's games we've not seen before. Because again, I've always seen her as just like a classic winger who's going to get in and score goals and set up goals and stuff. But she's clearly showing she's got a bit more than that.
Now, let's talk about the potential red card.
Do we have to?
I feel like it's quite key.
Yes.
Yeah, it's quite key. What was your reaction in the stadium?
So it was I was on the right side of the pitch for it. But the way it kind of happened is that the bodies were in between the ball and me. So I just assumed, I
didn't see anything. I saw nothing.
So I saw nothing.
Play on.
No, well, I kind of thought you kind of saw the collision and you saw them go down. You thought, ooh, and then the ref waves on. So I kind of think, they must have got the ball. That was my only kind of thought. If Caldentey gets the ball, then it's fine. Obviously, that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
Caldentey did not get the ball, tripped at Lauren Hen, and it's clearly a red card. I guess the only thing, realistically, the bias side of me is trying to give the ref any credit. Well, credit's a bit strong. Let the ref off in any way.
Yeah.
They kind of do go shoulder to shoulder first, and then Caldentey trips up Hemp.
Right.
So I wonder if when the ref sees it, she just sees them go shoulder to shoulder and just think, you know what, it's a footballing collision, it's not a foul.
Right.
And waves play on, but ultimately she got that wrong.
Yeah, you thought so. It may have looked like they went shoulder to shoulder, and then she kind of went down from the impact of that.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it was an awful decision.
Oh no, I agree. I want that on record. I think it was an awful decision as well.
But I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's fine as an Arsenal fan. Like, great, but I actually don't know how she missed it.
Yeah, well, I mean, ultimately, I was trying to give us some sort of rope, but yeah.
I mean, yes, maybe that is probably the most hopeful thing that she might have seen, but I didn't watch it in real time, but I watched it on the telly, and I was just like, that's
yeah, it was a terrible decision for sure, and we definitely got away with that. There's definitely not one to hide.
And then to call the foul later when the ball ended up in the back of the net. I mean, it was a foul. She got it right, but it was very similar.
Well, yeah, I thought that exact same thing, and there was. I mean, the ref had no control of the game all game.
Right.
She was doing really weird things. In the first half, every time an Arsenal player got injured, whether the physio saw them or not, they got sent off the pitch for 30 seconds.
Right.
Which was weird. I think what I could work out from a distance, she was trying to say, well, they were head injuries, so they need to go off and get checked.
Oh,
but the players weren't getting checked. One of them, Russo, stood on the other side of the pitch from the physios for 30 seconds and then came back on. And it struck the ref who just didn't have control of anything that was going on around her. And there was other poor calls in the game. I think ultimately more in Arsenal's favour.
Yeah.
But throughout the game that suggested that there was a kind of just a level of incompetence there.
Yeah.
And I think we are seeing this more and more in big games in the WSL at the moment, that the refereeing isn't just up to standard.
Yeah, and I think this is definitely an area where we want to see more investment. Because we can all laugh on the podcast now because it went our way.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a game where it doesn't.
100%.
Most likely.
Yeah.
And so it just needs to be more consistent.
Well, that was the Chelsea game at home. Obviously, we had all those questionables offsides. Now, again, in that same game, Victoria Pelova probably should have been sent off, which I kind of, again, shows that it is a degree of incompetence from the referees. Now, I have a little bit of sympathy because they've invested a lot of money in trying to get the refereeing standard up for something that was kind of amateur or semi-professional for such a long time. They're trying to bring these referees up to a professional standard, and that will take time.
Yeah.
And I've heard a lot of kind of more intelligent and more eloquent people than me saying that we can talk about things like VAR, but it's kind of pointless until you've really professionalized the refereeing in women's football, which is something that's only happened recently and is going to get time to take time to get right. So I do have some sympathies with the referees, and I do think maybe there does need to be a bit of degree of patience as well. But ultimately, you've got 40,000 people come into a football game, and this is like a big spectacle, and it's a shame if the officiating lets that down.
Yeah. But in a sense, can they not just do that in parallel? The VAR and the...
Well, potentially, yeah.
Because VAR is supposed to help the decision making.
Supposedly, yeah.
But whether or not we think that does it consistently or not, I think is another... We could get into that. Yeah. That's a whole other podcast. Yeah. But let's concentrate on Arsenal. Yeah. Before we get into one thing you want to forget and one thing you want to remember, there was another playlist this week. Leah Williamson and Mahalia collaborated for the pre-match playlist this week. Let's have a look what's in it. I did actually have a little look what was in it earlier. Any standouts for you?
Well, I liked the goal of there being a Mahalia tune, for sure.
Yeah, of course.
Which I respect that completely. Love Bob Sinclair. Also, how do we feel about the optics of putting Madonna in there the same day that Madonna was at the Chelsea Spurs game with the news that 2 of her daughters are in the Spurs academy?
The optics, they probably didn't know. Hey Madonna, hi. I'm putting a playlist together.
What are your daughters up to? Can you just confirm or deny?
It's a banger.
Yeah, it is a banger. I love Madonna, so
yeah. Great taste. The whole playlist is giving great taste.
Yes.
Jill Scott's in there. Not that Jill Scott.
Imagine.
It did throw me the other day because Jill Scott's got an album coming out in a few days.
Yes.
If you're a Six Music fan, you probably know this because she had an interview the other day. But when Grimmy did go on the breakfast show and be like, Jill Scott's coming on the show today. I did for a second. I was like, why?
What? Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, different Jill
See,
Scott.
even I knew you were talking about the other Jill Scott. When you said Jill Scott's got an album, it took my brain.
You've just got images of Jill Scott.
I just had to work out those words and be like, no, those words don't think what I mean they think.
Yeah, very different Jill Scott people.
Yeah.
It's giving great taste. It's giving a bit of Ibiza in there.
We're happy with that.
Yeah,
We
Bob
can get on board with
Sinclair,
that. Yeah.
Love Generation, Drake, Circo Loco, definitely named after the club.
Yes.
I think. So, yeah. I mean, if you do a playlist with Mahalia, it's going to be good.
Well, no,
Let's be
100%.
honest.
Let's
be honest.
How do you feel about... One thing we should mention, actually, while we're on this, is did you see that as part of the block by block, they've now introduced... From what I've read on Twitter, I think it was from a trusted source, but you never know these days, that they've introduced goal music for each of the players.
Really?
And it was definitely a different tune to the usual goal music when Liv Smith scored.
Okay, what was it? Do you know? Do you remember?
It was Baruch Pepas, that
Okay.
You know that tune?
Yeah.
Again, it was one of those ones I was like, I know the tune. I could not have told you who produced it, but here we are. How do you feel about that?
That I would quite like that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That tune or the goal music thing in general?
The goal, well, like a different tune for the person, for a different person.
Yeah.
I think that's quite cool.
So yeah, I'm torn because I'm generally against goal music anyway. I kind of didn't like it before.
Fair.
I felt we should just let the fans create the atmosphere.
True.
But if you're going to have goal music, I think this is better than just Freed from Desire every single time.
100%. Oh my God, 100%. We played Chatham this season.
Yes.
And we got absolutely battered by them.
Yeah.
Right, it was horrible. Away on a Wednesday night, pissing with rain. And they have a goal music song. And every time it played, I just wanted to just curl up on the floor.
What was the song?
I'm going to have to... What is it? It's the most jarring song. I honestly think by the fourth goal, they were sick of it. I'm going to have to get back to you on that. Okay. I feel like I've deleted it from my memory.
Is this like Bayern Munich playing the can-can?
Yeah.
It's that sort of level.
It is. It was horrible.
All right. Before we go for a break, what is one thing you'd like to forget and one thing you'll remember from this game?
I'm going to forget about that Mariona Caldentey tackle.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to remember the score.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
Liv Smith's goal.
Yes.
It just really made me happy. And just the second half. I was such an anxious mess in that second half. And I felt like, we didn't... most of that's on me. But I do think at times in the second half, the players didn't help me with that either.
Yeah.
But when you win, it doesn't matter.
Great. After the break, a big Champions League playoff. Welcome back to the thing about Arsenal. It is Champions League week. Wednesday at 5:45. Are you making the trip?
No, I looked at it.
Yeah.
I looked at it like the last time we went to Leuven. I looked at it. I thought long and hard. And then I just decided that the Eurostar is really fucking expensive.
It is really expensive. Yeah.
So no, I'm not making the trip. But I would have liked to, and I'm sure loads of Arsenal fans will. We, I think, broke the attendance for Leuven the last time we went. Loads of Arsenal fans went. I'm imagining it'll be similar again.
Yeah.
Because Arsenal fans always travel well. That's one thing we definitely know.
We do travel well. What is your expectation from this game?
I think when we played them last time, we proved that we were comfortably a better team. We played a strong team last time and ran out 3-0 winners, but chance probably could have been more. We gave up some chances.
Yeah.
We're in a weird situation where we're in this sort of round of shame that we would like not to be in, but you've kind of got to deal with it. And obviously you've got to win. So I think we should put out a fairly strong team to do that, but also it would be nice to rotate a little bit given the amount of games we've played recently.
Yes. And
it's kind of, we're in that hinterland where it's like we need to put out a team that's good enough to win, but also, maybe freshen things up a bit. How about you? How are you feeling for this one?
Yeah, so to give the listeners a bit of a recap, in the last month we played Man United twice, we played Man City and Chelsea, plus the Champions Cup, and Aston Villa in the FA Cup. So we've had a really busy month, and it's not really slowing down.
No.
So it is an opportunity to rest some tired legs before Brighton.
Yes.
But at the same time, you are playing that roll of the dice, aren't you? Because we need to win the game. So it's like, if you rest legs, you're a genius. If you don't, if we win the game, you're a genius.
Yeah.
But if you rest legs and we don't win the game, then all hell breaks loose.
Yeah. No, you've hit the nail on the head there. And I think we're in a lucky position, though, where because of actually some of the injuries we've had, we've got kind of good players and established starters who I think we actually need to try and play back into the team.
Mm-hmm.
So this might be a really good opportunity to bring Leah Williamson back in. I mean, obviously, I don't know their fitness. I'm not in the fucking physio room, but my assumption is if they've been on the bench recently, that we maybe could bring Leah Williamson back in for a start. Chloe Kelly, definitely be great for her to get some minutes. Kyra Cooney-Cross, she's not been back in the team since she went away and spent some time with her family in Australia because of everything that's going on there. She, before Christmas, had started to get a run of games and was looking a really important part of the Arsenal midfield. It'd be really good if we could get her back into the team.
Mm-hmm.
So I think rather than kind of going wholesale on the changes and playing like a second string team, I think what might be good is to kind of keep some of the big hitters there, but introduce these players back in to give them minutes and hopefully help us build towards kind of the next block of fixtures coming up.
Yeah, and to be honest, when you rattle off those names,
yeah, well, exactly,
it's fine.
Yeah.
So after Chelsea beat Spurs 2-0, they're back in the Champions League places, 1 point ahead of Arsenal, but we have a game in hand.
Yes. How are you feeling about the run-in?
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, given the last month we've had,
I know.
We've got every right to feel good.
Exactly, yeah.
But somehow you don't seem that convinced.
No, I do feel good. I feel good. I feel good.
If you say it enough times, it'll be true.
Yeah, exactly. No, I do feel good. I think, I don't want to say like some of the results have been surprising because I know that we're more than capable of winning those games. But they have, I think because of the beginning of the season, I think or the first half of the season, I guess, I think they have been like, oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Like, sit, fight, like, yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, yeah, I knew we'd win that game. Do you know what I mean?
I get what you mean. I think sometimes we do need to remind ourselves we are a really good team.
No, yeah, we're 6th. I mean, sharp losing.
No, but because I'm completely the same. Like, and I think with the first, I think a bit of inertia has set in amongst certainly a lot of fans and kind of not even Arsenal fans, kind of WSL fans in general, that, or maybe Arsenal are struggling and they're not that good. Like, even though this is the team that won the Champions League last season and have actually proved through a lot of Rennie Slager's time that they're a really good side. I think maybe what we've struggled with, other than that run we went on at the beginning when Rennie Slager took over, that we've maybe not been wholly consistent.
Yeah.
And we've shown in individual games how good we can be. And now what we need to go and do is go and show how we can be consistent over an extended period of time.
Yes.
But we're in a really good position, I think, for this run-in where most of our hard games are out the way. Like, we've got, that was what this month was, like playing City, playing Chelsea, playing United, and we've come through them really well.
Yeah.
And I think the hardest game in the league we're going to have between the end of now and the end of the season is Spurs at home, which I know Spurs have had a good season and gave us a difficult game away, but I felt we should still win that. And then it's just beating the teams who are lower in the table that you should be. And obviously that's what we struggled with earlier in the season, but hopefully, you know, with this renewed sense of purpose and form, we can do that. And the other thing to keep in your mind about this...
I like it. This is like a therapy session.
Well, you know, that's what I'm here for. But to keep in your mind when... Look, the narrative now is Chelsea, United, Spurs, Arsenal. Which of these two can finish second and third and guarantee Champions League places? Well, I think Spurs will drop off because they're kind of bottom of that and probably the least established. And then Chelsea and United play each other on the last day of the season. So if we get to the last day of the season and it's all quite close, one of those teams is guaranteed to drop points on that final day of the season.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the ace in the pack, that if it does go wrong, as long as you keep in touch, hopefully we'll be in a good position to still
There's a little
qualify.
bit of wiggle room there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope anyway.
And after watching the documentary, I just feel anything can happen.
Yeah.
We can make anything happen.
I think so. I think that's fair.
Yeah, Alessia Russo, let's mention her.
Oh,
she's been
please.
Particularly prolific in both the Champions League for us and obviously the
the
league. But let's talk about the Champions League.
Yeah.
4 goals and 2 assists in 6 games.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, brilliant. I think it's really interesting to see her development in this team because everyone sees her as one of the best strikers in the world, and I think she is still that. But she's played a lot of the number 10 as the season has gone on with Blackstenius and now Smith.
Yes. You didn't love her in the 10 with Blackstenius, did you?
Well, my feeling was there was certain times where it fitted and certain times where it didn't. And actually, I think against the best teams who are going to play a higher line, it potentially does, because it allows Russo to do the stuff she's really good at and kind of hold up the play and link stuff together. And then she's got someone with her who can then run in behind and take advantage of the higher line, which we saw Blackstenius do against Chelsea and we saw Liv Smith do here against Man City. What I think we're going to now see, maybe against Leuven or as we get into the back half of the league and we're playing teams that are going to defend a bit deeper, you then lose some of the creativity of not having that extra midfielder in there. So what I kind of hope is that because this has worked for the last few games, and I don't think Rennie Slagers is like this, but I hope it doesn't become, well, Russo's just a 10 now. And I kind of hope that we can kind of look at who we're playing against and say, like, okay, these teams, you know what? Having Russo up there with someone really helps us, but against other teams, maybe having Mariona further forward and Cooney cross play and then Russo play as a number 9 actually is the better option.
Yeah. I think it will always be that. It will always be looking at a team and working out what their weaknesses are and how our strengths can play to their weaknesses.
Yeah.
And it's like a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
When you're playing against any opposition and they're trying to work out the analysis of it. And sometimes she's going to have to play a 10, sometimes she's going to have to play a 9, just depending on what the setup is. Yeah. And she can do both really, really well.
Yeah,
which is amazing to have.
For sure. Definitely.
I do prefer her in the 9. Like, personally, I want her close.
Well, she's our best goal scorer, right? And
as possible.
You don't want to lose that.
Exactly. But that option is wicked to have.
Yeah.
And I thought Olivia Smith did great at the weekend.
Yeah.
You know, and I think she did exactly what they needed her to do, was to be that speed demon and run in behind.
Yeah.
And that setup, worked. So yeah, I think we will see more of her playing in that sort of like dual role.
Yeah, I hope so. I think ultimately everyone has agreed that because she is such a good number 9 and she can do everything, but she's also such a good goal scorer.
Yeah.
You worry that you lose some of that by playing her in a 10. And I do one thing I want to address is I think a lot of people think by playing her as a 10, you're playing her in midfield. Actually, a lot of the time when it's been her and someone else out there, she still played up high on the pitch. Like, she's not like she's dropping back and like playing really deep, but it obviously is just a sort of different set of roles that she has to fulfill, right?
Yeah.
But you do worry that you're just going to lose very slightly of what she's best at if she's not the focal point of your attack.
Yeah.
And I think some people are worried about that, but at the same time, it is also working. It's a kind of weird thing to contend with.
I mean, there might be potential games where she's not the goal scorer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But she just played a different part in it.
Yeah, well, this Sunday was a perfect example of that. I thought she had a brilliant game on Sunday. She did so much of the kind of stuff she's really good at other than scoring the goals, and then that allowed Liv Smith to go and do what she was doing.
Exactly. So I think everyone just keep that in mind.
Yes.
When she does play the 10.
Yeah.
Let's talk about goalkeepers.
Yes.
Annika Borba.
Yeah.
She's been named our player of the month for January.
This makes me feel vindicated.
Yeah.
Because people thought I'd jinxed her, and maybe I did, but ultimately, look who's right in the end.
Okay, yeah. Well done, Rory.
Thank you.
Well done, Rory. Domslar, she came back for City.
Yeah.
And we were looking at getting another keeper.
Yes. We brought one in.
We have brought one in.
Yeah, I know.
I know, which I was kind of surprised.
I also said we wouldn't do that, so maybe I wasn't right.
Yes. Yeah. We have stolen a previous Spurs player.
Nice. Always good.
Yes. So yeah, now we have lots of keepers now.
I know. I find the goalkeeper situation fascinating because ultimately we're all agreed that Van Domslar's our best goalkeeper.
Yes.
But Borba was good.
Yeah, she did a great job.
And like, I know Borba's injured, but she will be back in the coming weeks. Is there a conversation in your mind about who starts in goal, or is it just Van Domslar's come back in now? She is a starting goalkeeper.
I think for me, it's probably still Van Domslar gets the spot, but the next couple of weeks will determine that probably.
Yeah.
Because being a goalkeeper is so difficult when it comes to competing for your spot, and it's such a strange dynamic because you're off training pretty much in your own little unit on your own, away from the rest of the squad, and it is like a real goalkeepers union, but it's so competitive.
Yes.
And once that person gets that spot, it's extremely unlikely they're going to lose it unless they majorly fuck up continuously.
Yes.
Or they get injured.
Yeah.
And you obviously don't really wish that for anyone.
No, of course.
But you're still competing for that spot.
Yeah.
So Borba will come back from injury. Domslar will be in for the next couple of weeks, and she'll be playing to keep the spot.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It will just depend on how the next couple of weeks. I think if she plays how she was playing before for the next couple of weeks, she'll keep the spot.
Yeah, I think that's fair. What I'd maybe like to see is, I don't always like this, but the
cup rotation.
Yeah, I think we've got the FA Cup coming up. I think because Borba has proved how good she is, and I think there's been at times where I always feel like I'm slacking off Manu Zungsberger. I don't mean to, because I actually do really like her, but there was times when she was in goal and it just felt uneasy, yeah. And I felt like if Van Domsler got injured, the drop-off was big. And there was times we saw that last season. And I feel like Borba's reduced that gap greatly. So keeping her fresh and able to, because Van Domsler has had various issues with injuries since she's joined us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important that Borba is ready to step up as and when. So maybe the Cup would be a good place for her to do that, because I do think she's also good enough to command a place in that team. And it's not, sometimes I feel like the Cup goalkeeper just feels like just trying to keep everyone happy, and that's when I don't like it. But this feels more than that. It feels like it's actually got a kind of useful purpose.
Yeah. I'd like to see that.
Nice.
Let's go for that. The winner of the playoff in the Champions League of this playoff will play Chelsea in the next round.
How do you feel?
We just beat them. It's fun. It's fun. It's going to be fun.
Thank you. I mean, I needed to hear that. I feel terrified about this. I think it's just the Champions League as well. And the idea of Chelsea winning the Champions League is, I think, mortifying to all of us.
Hear the end of it.
And obviously, to feel that we're going to play a part in that is going to be a lot to kind of emotionally handle.
Yeah. I'm going to stay optimistic. I'm going to stay positive.
Good.
After last month?
Well, yeah, 100%.
If the month hadn't gone the way it had just gone,
yes,
different story.
Yeah. But
the way it has gone, we can win.
Good. I mean, I literally just went on a rant about how we are a good team and we need to remember that.
Yeah.
Follow your own advice sometimes.
Yeah, we're just... there's one thing that this podcast has made me realise, and it is how mental we are.
Oh,
as
yeah,
Arsenal fans.
100%.
I'm sure football fans everywhere. But it's just like that.
I know.
Isn't it? Especially when things are like, we've just won the Champions League, men could win the league. Yeah. I'm not complaining.
No, I was going to say.
It is a roller coaster of emotions, I'm not going to lie.
I also think, that I'm going to talk about some sort of theory that I don't know well enough to talk about, but there's some sort of theory, right? That it takes 10 pieces of good news to forget one piece of bad news. Or one piece of criticism.
Right.
You need to be told you're good 10 times to forget the one time you were told you're bad.
God,
so
we're so needy.
Well, exactly, quite. That might not be the exact stat, but it's something like that. And I feel like following football is like that for me, where it takes 10 good games to remember the one time we were really shit.
Yeah, we like to attach onto the bad things.
100%, yeah.
So, let's remind ourselves that we beat City this month.
I know.
We beat Chelsea.
I know.
We're through to the next round of the FA Cup.
And we're world champions.
Okay? Let's just pause there. After the break, a burning question from a listener. Welcome back to the thing about Arsenal. Our next WSL game, Brighton, on Sunday. They're drifting in mid-table. They lost to West Ham 3-2 recently, which was a bit of a shocker.
Yeah. Yeah, and West Ham have been bad.
Yeah.
Brighton have actually been... I think Brighton are a decent enough side, but they've been pretty poor since Christmas.
Yes. I whenever I think of Brighton in the WSL, I just think very solid WSL kind of side. Now, as in 100%. Just they've been around for a little while.
Know what they're doing. Like to have our players on loan.
Yeah, exactly.
Very useful club to have in the WSL.
Yeah, exactly. But this weekend we play them. I'm not too worried.
Yeah, no, I feel good about this.
They have come back off. It could go either way, right? They've just lost to West Ham, so they could be coming back for some redemption off that bad result. Or we could feed off that bad result, and it could be quite a comfortable win. Yeah,
I hope so. I'm going to go with the latter in this newfound optimism we're channeling. I also think Crawley, not that far from London, will take loads of fans, or as many as we can, and I'm sure some will sneak into the home end as well. We'll bring a good atmosphere. Hopefully we'll be coming off the back of a comfortable win in the Champions League during the week, which we're all predicting. The vibes are high, and The only thing, if I had a thing to say that this game is something we should be a little bit worried about, that's a bit strong, but something we should be cautious of, is that they do have a good defensive record.
Yes.
Out of the kind of the best, I think, out of the non sort of top 4 or 5 teams. And the times we've struggled most this season is to find a way to score against sort of stubborn defensive sides.
And we only beat them 1-0.
And we only beat them 1-0.
Home.
Exactly. And this was a prime example of that. I do hope that we're coming out the back of that, but equally, we've not actually had to contend with that much recently because we've played against really good teams who are going to come out and try to play a bit more, play a high line, all that sort of stuff. So we are going to have to try and overcome that. I think we can, but that is going to be the thing we've got to be wary of.
Yeah. Rory's a little bit scared of the low block. Are you going to an away game this weekend? You fancy a little trip down to Sussex?
I did, and then got dragged into going to the men's FA Cup game against Wigan. Which sounds, I mean, I say dragged like that's a chore. That's also a very nice thing to do as well. So I think I will find a pub in the North London vicinity to watch this, and then I'll head to the stadium after that.
Lovely. I was actually in Sussex this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, great. Went for a dog walk.
Oh.
Yeah, took Gunnar for a walk.
Very nice.
With his mates. Not too far from the stadium, actually.
That is a very wholesome weekend.
Yeah, very wholesome weekend. I spread a good... I burnt some sage around the stadium. If you don't know. And one player we haven't actually mentioned this podcast, Emily Fox. Her performances have been amazing lately. And it actually might turn out that she may have an extra year on her contract that was just reported wrong and just like... people forgot about or something. I don't know.
This is brilliant.
What?
In the modern world, can we have a situation like what I really hope is that it's not Arsenal that have suddenly remembered this. They've just found the contracts and gone, hang on a second.
Oh, right.
You're actually here till 2027. What are we talking about? Don't worry about it.
Sorry, you're going to have to extend that lease. But that is bonkers. How has this happened?
I don't know. I'm hoping it's just journalists getting their facts wrong. But it has been widely reported that she's out of contract in this summer. And now in the BBC are coming, actually, maybe we had our facts wrong.
Do you think she was reading it and she was like, am I? Pretty sure I'm not.
I love the idea that she just knew and just didn't correct anyone.
Yeah, I quite like that. Yeah. I quite like that. Just like play a really good run of games, get everyone hyped up and be like, only joking.
Or maybe even hope that Arsenal forgot, as I said, and be like, yeah can we talk about that contract? Yeah, Chuck can have a couple of grand on that. Thank you very much.
So it looks like she's staying for another season, which I'm happy
great
about.
News. Yeah, I mean,
great news.
The report I'd seen before was that talks were progressing well. So...
Well, obviously they are because they've already happened.
So either way, I wasn't too worried that she was going to leave. And I think that's really important because she's been brilliant for us. Definitely makes this a better team. And yeah, that's one less bit of admin we have to do in what is probably going to be quite an admin-heavy summer.
Yeah.
Quite nice, really.
Yeah. If we can keep her and not think about it, that would be great.
That would be great.
Before we go, we've got a question from Natasha on Instagram. Hi guys, love the pod. I'll be going along to Brighton this weekend for my first ever live WSL game.
That is
amazing. And my first ever football game generally.
Wow.
We are honoured.
Check you, Natasha.
Go on.
What weekend you're going to have?
She's super excited, but she wants to know what are the do's and don'ts of being a match-going Arsenal fan?
Great question.
What would be your do's and don'ts? What would be one do and one don't?
A couple of do's.
Okay, yeah.
First of all, check out the Arsenal Women's Supporters Club on Instagram because they will generally, for home and away games, share bars or sort of location where they're meeting before the game.
Nice.
I think for your first game, that'll be a really nice thing to do because you'll go and meet loads of really enthusiastic Arsenal fans who are really nice and will welcome you in. Secondly, sing.
Make some noise.
Just make some noise. I think there's a songbook online somewhere. You can go and find it.
Yep.
Don't be like Luke Kempner, who was moaning on the Reacts at the weekend that he can't remember all the words for all the songs.
He told me this today.
Yeah, learn some of the songs.
He literally has to learn lines for his job.
I know. Well, maybe that's why it's like, it feels like a chore.
Yeah.
You don't want to take work home.
True.
So I think it's maybe that.
Just on a freestyle.
So yeah. So maybe don't turn up not knowing any songs.
You better be prepared, Natasha.
No, and obviously just go and enjoy yourself. If you don't want to sing. Actually, I also am quite of the opinion.
Are you a singer?
I'm in the right environment.
As in, have you had 3 beers yet?
Well, come on, that's slanderous. No, I think it's more like I like to watch the game.
Yes.
And I feel like if I get too involved in like the constant singing throughout the game, I forget to watch the game.
Okay.
So it's more like, because my favorite thing about going to a football game is that I feel like I have some sort of impact on the result. So it's more like the team are a bit flat, or I'll then try pipe up with a song.
Yeah.
In order to help the team in a moment, rather than just like blind sing from start to finish, because then I get distracted.
You're very particular about the moments. The moments need a key.
100%.
Yeah,
definitely.
Like that.
How about you? What would your do's and don'ts be for Natasha?
My do's would be eat before you get in the stadium.
Yeah.
Because the stadium food will be rubbish.
Yeah.
Right? And it's very important that you are fueled to sing. Don't not sing. So that would be my do.
Yeah.
Don't wear the colour blue.
Yeah.
By accident.
That's very fair.
That could happen.
Yeah.
Even your jacket. Anything. Nothing blue.
Yeah. I did buy a black jacket just to make sure that I feel black's neutral enough, you can get away with it.
Yeah. And you kind of look like an ultra, which I can imagine you to be.
If I play the part, then maybe one day I'll get there.
You just see Rory in a ballet, like flair. Natasha, sing! Have a great time, Natasha. I hope you have a great time.
I hope you have a lovely time. I'm sure you will. And hopefully Arsenal will give you a good result.
Exactly. Thank you all for being with us on this episode of The Thing About Arsenal. We will be back with another episode of About Arsenal Women next Tuesday. In the meantime, we'd love to hear your questions and comments in response to today's episode. Find us at Thing About Arsenal on Instagram, at About Arsenal Pod on X, or you can email us if you fancy that, show@thingaboutarsenal.com. Luke and Johnny are back on Thursday night for a reaction to Arsenal men's game in their quest for Premier League glory. That's away at Brentford. I'm not nervous at all. Hit subscribe wherever you're watching and listening to make sure you never miss an episode from us. Thanks, Rory.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.